Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone. Okay, I think Prof. Hasman has covered all the essential aspects of the guideline. So for my part here, I want to dive in and maybe expand a little bit on the how to do it. So this micro-credential in action and how to make it happen. Well, of course, I have about 20 minutes. I'm not be able to detail everything. So it just kind of the how-to in a very general way. If you are interested, usually I will conduct one full day workshop, preferably 2 days actually, to go through from A to Z, how to make it happen and how to implement micro-credential, especially for the academic program. So basically, the three things I'm going to cover very quickly. How to unbundle, because micro-credential program is about, when we talk about the academic program especially, not the freestanding one. So how to unbundle or unpack the whole 4 years curriculum, 120 credits on average, and how to modularize to make it, to make as a modules. Then I will talk about the digital credentialing or digital badges, basically how to recognize learning when the students have taken or have completed the module successfully, or even the whole package. How do we give the recognition in terms of digital credential? And the final part, I'm going to briefly talk about how do we create a so-called the learning path to bridge between the non-formal or the informal learning, where from the students who take the micro-credential module and packages, and if they wish to get the formal qualification in the form of degree or diploma, then how to provide the alternative or the learning path for them. So those are the three things that I'm going to cover. Of course, you're going to have the slides. I think MQA will give you all the slides. So I will be sharing the slides here, so don't worry. Now, let me briefly capture the what Prof. Hasman has described just now, or the features or the characteristics of micro-credential. So basically, micro-credential is to support the flexible education and flexible learning, and to provide the flexible learning pathway, multiple entries, multiple exits, and to open up education, access to education as wide as possible. And the concept of micro-credential, now with the technology, we can provide the micro-credential program online. So we'll make it very flexible for anyone. Anyone can learn anything, and learning on the concept of learning on demand, just in time, just enough, and just for me, very personalized. And then we want to move from the so-called time-based to competency-based, which simply means the concept of mastery learning, meaning that when the student take a module, they have to be assessed, they have to demonstrate the competency, they have to demonstrate that they have achieved the specific learning outcome for that particular module, and then only they will be deemed as competent, and they will get the digital badge. Then micro-credential, by the very meaning of the micro, we basically deliver the content of the program, the content of the course in the bite size. So we chunk it, we break it up into small chunks, and based on the concept of micro learning, because nowadays the average learners, average adult, they have a very short concentration span in a matter of less than 10 seconds. So micro learning concept is actually to cater for this short concentration span of especially the millennial generation. And the concept of micro-credential, the learning on demand, will enable learners to personalize their own learning, and they can design their own learning path. In fact, some people say that with micro-credential, anyone now can design their own degree can design their own diploma. So it will really, to me, it's really a game changer for MicroCredential. Is really a game changer because anyone now can design their own learning path, their own degree. And the concept of digital credentialing, instead of our mindset thinking about the paper-based qualification, but now with the technology as an enabler, we are moving into digital credentialing in the form of digital badge, meaning that for any piece of learning, once you have shown your competency, even let's say after you have watched the 10 minutes video or 3 minutes video and you learn one particular skill, you can get a recognition from the authorized learning providers in the form of digital badge. And the power of these digital badges, the concept of micro-credential, is the concept of stackable, where you can accumulate, you can collect a bundle of badges, you can collect a bundle of certificates, and you can stack them up, and you can get a full qualification. So that is where the learning providers or the HEPs or the training providers can create that learning path for those who wish to get the full qualification. So that's basically the three features of micro-credential and how we can actually so-called really democratize education by leveraging on the micro-credential. Now, when we look at the current scenario, those who enter the formal education to the university through the UPU, only those who the luckiest among the population, about 30% or 40% of them that manage to enter the university, they will go through the 4-year educational system. It's a time-based, very rigid. They have to stay within the system in 4 years, and only there at the end they will get the degree or the formal qualification. But now with micro-credential, we want to provide another path for those about 60-70% that not that fail to make it to the university. They went to work. So these are adult working adult, and those who are working, but they still have the desire and the intention to get a formal qualification. So for them, they will take they will take MOOC, they will take short courses, seminars, workshop, and they will get a certificate. But now we provide for them a path to get a formal qualification by providing a so-called packages or modules, and then we recognize their learning formally with digital badges, and they can accumulate and bundle all those digital badges into a full curriculum that is mapped to the accredited program. So this is where we are bridging the non-formal and informal education to the formal education, and this will really open up a lot of avenues for everyone, including the lifelong learners. And the enablers here, we should leverage on what MQA has offered in the form of FLA, FLC, and soon FLQ. All these are actually the enablers and the instruments that would provide the flexibility. So now when with micro-credential, we are talking about a different way of giving credential. This is what we call alternative credential that will open up a lot of new paths and new opportunities for everyone. This basically will support the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, goal number 4, which basically provide quality education, inclusive education for everyone anywhere. So let's look at in the context of the academic program, how this micro-credential guideline would enable the HEP, the higher education providers, to now be creative and really explore how they can provide and support the flexible education through this micro-credential. So when we look at the current situation, when the students enroll through the UPU system, they enroll in the formal academic program. They will basically will stay in the system for 4 years, and this is what I call the full-fledged or comprehensive academic program, 4 years, 8 semesters, And I call this as a just-in-case curriculum because we stuff everything, thinking that the students will use all the knowledge and the skill they will learn during the 4 years. And it's a rigid or time-based system. They have to stay in the system for 4 years, whether they are very genius or they can, even if they can do it in 2 years, there's no way they can graduate earlier. So it's a very time-based and very rigid system. And at the end, they will get the 120 credits, not even one credit, 1 unit less. If 1 unit less, they cannot graduate. Okay, so they, at the end, they will get the so-called MicroCredential. So this is in contrast to what we are what is MicroCredential is about. 120 credit hours, take it or leave it. If you fail halfway, you end up with nothing. So that's probably now where the MicroCredential now will provide another pathway, another alternative. Meaning now we can unpack and unbundle the whole 4 years curriculum into modules and we pack them into packages and bundles that we can offer as certificate program, as long as we don't call it the names or nomenclature that in the MQF, but we can offer it in a small series of small packages, and each package and each module in the package is already mapped to the accredited program. So now, as a learner, as a student, I have the freedom now. I have total control to take any package, any module, anytime that I feel like it. When I have the money, when I have the mood, when I have the time. So it's going to be very, very flexible. So this is what we call just in time, just enough, and just for me, and it become very, very personalized. That's, ladies and gentlemen, to me, the future. What MicroCredential would enable and how it can really be a game changer to our education system in Malaysia. And we should take the lead in this matter. So let's look at how we can now unbundle or unpack the academic program now. It's a credit-bearing program on the left-hand side here. So let's assume that we have 120 units or 120 credit hours. So all we need to do now is to look at all the courses in the program. And then how do we now package them, break them into packages, into logical packages that later on we can offer as a freestanding program to various stakeholders or target groups outside the formal education in the campus-based program. And then we zoom into the course level, and this is where we can start to modularize the course into modules. And all this throughout this process, we have to keep in mind that when the modularization step here should always keep in mind to align with the program outcome. And we will address all the points in the quality assurance that Prof. Hasman has shown just now. Always keeping in mind the quality, everything is not compromised. And then at the end of each module or each course, the student will get a digital badge as a recognition of their learning and evidence of their competency. The same thing we can do for a freestanding program. Let's say that the 1 day short course that we have been doing, worth of 6 hours. So now you can also modularize and offer that as a freestanding MicroCredential package. And the same thing, the student will get the digital badge towards the end. But if this freestanding program comes from the academic program that is already mapped to the program outcome, then the credit transfer here in this case can happen seamlessly. So just to illustrate, so that we can visualize it easily, we start with the whole curriculum, then we can unbundle or unpack it into several packages. And each package in this example here, we have 3 packages. In each package, we have several courses, and the course can be modularized, and the course can carry the digital badge, or the module itself can carry a digital badge. It's up to the learning provider to decide at which level that the digital badge can be awarded. So as a student, as a learner, I can take any of this package anytime that I like. But if I decide, if I wish to get the full qualification, I know that I have to take all the 3 packages and all the module inside the 3 packages, but I have total control of when and where and how I want to do it. And we can offer this as a standalone freestanding program, certificate or advanced certificate program and so on. This name here is just to illustrate because as Prof. Hasman has reminded just now, the nomenclature of the name of the micro-credential should not clash with what we have in the MQF. So all this can be offered as an upskilling or reskilling program for target groups, specific target groups, or as a lifelong learning program. So looking at it from another way, to create a pathway. Yeah, how do we create a pathway? The learning provider, when they unpack the curriculum, let's say at the end here, so let's say the end in mind is the degree program or can be a diploma. So all we need to do now is basically to unpack, we work backward and see how many packages that we can package the curriculum. And in each package here, there will be several courses, and the courses will be we can break it up into modules, and then we can offer this independently as an independent package to the public, and the students now can see the pathway. Some probably will be interested only to take one of the package or even some of the modules in specific package for personal or professional development for upskilling or reskilling. But some who wish to take the full qualification, so they know what to do because they can see the whole pathway. But of course, they will have a total control of how to go about it. So in 2021, the scenario would be for a university, they will have the accredited academic program conventional as usual, but they will also have the same, another version of it in the micro-credential format. And then from there, they can offer the micro-credential into packages for the public. So these are the scenario. And then the student who take these packages for upskilling or for whatever purposes, they will be able to do credit transfer, and they can get a 100% credit transfer if they take it from one institution only, or they can get up to 70% if they take the micro-credential packages from a consortium of universities, for example. And this is where also the opportunity now where the university and the industry can really collaborate and can work together on this one. So some technology on the last part of my presentation here. So there's sometimes the confusion between the term course or module. So let's see if we start from the program level here. We can break it up into courses. Then from the course, we can break it up into modules. And then in each module, there will be the content of that module. And of course, in each module, just like a course, it will have the learning activities, it will have the assessment. So if I zoom into the course level, let's say the course with 3 learning outcomes and 6 topics, I can now modularize the topics into several modules. And for one course, it will end up with X number of modules. There will be no fixed number. It depends on how we break down or break up the modules into the course into modules. But all the time, we must ensure the mapping, like the student learning time, everything must be done properly. So in the module, we will have all the content in the form of video, the assessment, and maybe the learning activities as well. So a few more slides. I think okay, just give me another 5 minutes and I will get done. Now, so these are examples of how the micro-credential module looks like on on our USM micro-credential platform. And this is another example of on different platform. If you see here, 8, so we can assume this one 8 different modules. You can see here this very short, 2 hours, 1 hour. Let's assume this 8 modules is part of one full course. So the student will go through, the student will take each of the module at their own time. But if they wish to complete the whole course, so they will have to take all the 8 modules. They will get 8 digital badges. Okay. All right, that's my alarm. Okay, and yeah, so Mr. Zafir, just allow me a few more minutes. I want to talk about digital badge, the last part here, and the blockchain in terms of the authentication. So basically, digital badge and blockchain is about how do we capture the evidence of learning and ensuring quality and authenticity. So this is where the concept of stackable credential, which I have mentioned just now, concept of competency-based education, and the blockchain-based transcript. Blockchain is just a technology behind the the cryptocurrency, but it is actually so far the foolproof way to authenticate the whether the digital badge is genuine or not. It's not fake. So okay, I mentioned this one already. I just keep so basically the digital badge, the concept of digital badge is a visual representation of the knowledge and the skills earned over time after the learner or the students have demonstrated their competency, and they can start to accumulate. And this will create a more streamlined process for evaluating an individual's competencies. And it's just basically the digital badge, just like a certificate, is an evidence that the students have the knowledge, the skill, the competency, they have achieved the required proficiency, and it's basically the achievement. So this is one example. Depending on the platform that you use for your MicroCredential, each student will have their own dashboard or the e-portfolio, so they can display proudly all the digital badges that they have collected. In this example here, you can see the student here is a very good student because he has many badges here. And these are real badges actually from Microsoft. And it's real badges that I have collected from Microsoft, I'm proud to say. And one of the characteristics of digital badges, it is portable and shareable. So we can actually share in our LinkedIn or any social media. In LinkedIn, for example, this is a real example, by the way. So if the employer is looking for candidate, he can go to LinkedIn, put the keywords, and he can click the digital badge and can see more the information about, you can see down here in the slide, the metadata showing some information. But it's not only that. In the digital badge, because it is digital, we can embed a lot of information here, and including the learning artifacts of the student, selected learning artifacts. And if you think about it, the digital badge is actually the micro e-portfolio, and the student would have the opportunity to curate the best learning artifacts to show their competency. And this is a real example again. This is actually the badge, the digital badge that USM is using for our MicroCredential from accredited. And you can see here a lot of information can be embedded, including the full CV and including all that what the students have done in that particular module. And these are examples of real badges, the corporate digital badges from Microsoft, Oracle, Cisco, and these are from the Microsoft. And the blockchain, if we use the digital badge that already have the blockchain behind it, so this will become very convenient, where now the employer or the prospective employer can verify the digital badge is not fake. So you just click, and then it will go to the blockchain, and then it will say verified. For example, credential is verified, and then you can see here verify blockchain record. Then credential is verified, and down there view live credential. If the person, prospective employer in this case, interested to learn more, so you can click the view live credential, and it will show all this just now terlepas lah. Anyway, so okay, the last few slides. Basically, once we have the micro-credential modules and program on our platform, so the student, let's say, would discover will go into the platform. They will find the course, and they can see the pathway in the form of how many packages are there, how many modules in each package. So they will go through the learning process, and then they have to submit the assignment to be evaluated before they can get a digital badge. So basically, these are the kind of the processes that will happen when the student go through the micro-credential. And the last two slides here is the learning pathway. These are only example of how we can, from, in this case, associate degree in biotech, and we unpack it into series of certificates and series of modules. So the student will take it and then stack them up, and finally will get a final degree. This is another example. You can have a look at it when you get the slides. There are many examples out there, and I just picked two examples here. And finally, example of digital credential providers. I just run through very quickly. We in USM are using accredited, and the platform that we are using, Open Learning, will also integrate accredited as part of the platform. And this from Credential, very popular also. This from Badger. This is ReadyCred, the Australian-based digital credential provider. Open Learning has introduced OpenCreds as well. We in USM are using Open Learning as our micro-credential platform, and it's very exciting now because Open Learning will be introducing OpenCreds digital badge, which will be integrated in the platform, and that will facilitate the process of running the micro-credential program on the platform. And finally, opportunity for the industry and university to work together through various models. For example, here I'm sharing one model here, so-called 3-stack credential framework model for micro-credential, where the industry component here, the industry partner can come in and design their own micro-credential. The university can work on their academic program put together, and we can offer that as a one full micro-credential program. So that's all, and that's the link actually. You can download directly if you wish from my Google Drive. So thank you for you all for listening, and thank you, Mrs. Zafir, for giving me some extra time here. Thank you.